implies in this video. Hi, I'm King Grant. I'm Grant King in the Camelot, and this is how to start a micronation government. As the name would imply, tonight I'm going to be talking to you about the style of government you want for your micronation, what's the best way to run it, and hopefully it'll be some help to you. If you do enjoy the video and find it helpful and interesting, then please subscribe, hit the like button, and search us up on Patreon. It is really a big help. So now let's get into it. So there are many different styles of government out there. Democracy, absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy, communism, dictatorship, the list goes on. Communism, I would strongly advise you not to create a communist government. No good can come of it. No good has ever come of a communist regime running any of the existing governments for micronations, and nothing good has ever come of it for micronations having governments of that style either. Dictatorship. Again, not the best. It's not necessarily a bad method of governing. The biggest problem with it is that there have been a lot of really bad, evil dictators in human history, and people tend to associate dictatorship with things like Vladimir Putin and Hitler. Democracy, again, I would strongly recommend against democracy. But hear me out before you start saying in the comments how great democracy is and how wrong I am about that. Just hear me out. There are several main reasons democracy is not good for any country. Firstly, the less people you have in your nation, the less effective democracy is. Say you create a micronation with a democratic government and it requires 12 people to pass a law or make any decisions. Eight of those people get coronavirus or whatever, and are completely unable to participate in the governing of the nation for a time, and for the entire period of time that they are ill, you are unable to make decisions. Another negative about democracy is that it is based on competition rather than cooperation. You don't get elected because you are good at what you do. You get elected because you convince people that you should be given that position. Then the majority of the time, those who are elected do what's best for them rather than doing what's best for the country. Another reason is that in a democracy, you have to have elections. Now, what that means is that money that could be going on things like your schools, your health services, your military, science, and a whole list load of other things is being used to set up polling stations all around the country, to pay for politicians to drive around the country in big cars, to pay for police cars to drive about providing security for political leaders. Or whatever type of security that they use. The money goes on a glorified popularity contest instead of going on the people. And the next negative is that in a democracy, it tends to be you have the ability to try and get the people you want in power to be the people who are in power, but one, that depends on how many other people want the same government as you want. If you live in a rural area and all the cities vote for people you don't want, then your guys don't have a hope in hell. And even if you do get your guys in, after you have chosen who you want for your government, you don't get to choose. You don't get a say in the decisions they make. They make all the decisions. You don't get any input in those decisions. They can announce that they are going to vote on something, and you will say that you don't want them to vote on it because it's something the government should stay out of, and they will go ahead with the vote anyway. Democracy really is a Pandora's box. It's a Pandora's box that should have been closed a long time ago and has not been. I would strongly advise you don't pick democracy. Despite what you may have been told, people care most about having a say in what happens to them. So if they have a say in what happens to them, they won't care who the leader is, or at least they won't care as much. And if you don't allow them to try and pick who you want to be in charge, who they want to be in charge, if they do get a say in what happens. Final thing I would point out is if your micronation purchases land, who does the land actually belong to? How do you work it out? Do you all buy the land together? Or does one person try and raise the money with a Patreon and then he owns that land? Does the land pass to the new leader if that person is voted out of power? Or does he keep it? How do you decide what that land will be used for? It's just a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. The way New Camelot is governed is by an absolute monarchy. But not your conventional absolute monarchy, might be a good way to describe it. You have me, the king, at the top, and the royal family. So, yeah, and then below that there is the Round Table, which is the High Ruling Council of New Camelot, and they serve different functions. They're split into two groups. The Knights of the Round Table and the Planet Priestesses. There are videos about them in my playlist on how the government of New Camelot works, but essentially, the Knights of the Round Table handle most of the online, a lot of stuff that we do online, and several other things, and the Planet Priestesses will be a group of Wiccan priestesses who serve as advisors to the king and also help to enforce our rules and laws, and function as security out and about at special events that we will hold in public when we get the money to do that. There'll be guards for our land when we have people coming in, so secure, all sorts of stuff. And that works for us. And if someone has a problem with a decision that is made, they can take it up with myself and with the ruling council, and we'll hear what they have to say, and they have a chance to talk us into changing our mind. If we do expect them to accept our decision, but they do get to have a say. If you would like to experience what it's like to be part of a ruling council, then we are actually recruiting for our ruling council. If you would like to sign up to train to be a New Camelot High Priestess on the council, you need to be 15 years old or older, female, obviously as a High Priestess, and pay to do the training videos. In addition to training videos, you will receive access to things like look at the designs for uniforms and stuff, and lots of other info too. And once you've done all your training videos, then you will email me at New Camelot, and I will give you a final test. And if you pass that test, then you will be made a member of the council, and you can, of course, take what you learn from training to be on the council and from being on the council, and if you so desire, use that to set up your own micronation and participate in the governing of that micronation. So definitely absolute monarchy would be the best for you. It's a lot easier to make decisions, a lot easier to get things done, a lot quicker to get things done, and just all around more effective. But have advisors. Well, I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video.